to Getting Candid with me, your girl Hellen. My guest today is a comedian who has been making rounds on social media. He talks about literally anything trendy, including governance issues. He doesn't hold back. I'm talking about Ken Dumbo. First time I met this guy though, he was a DJ. He used to call himself DJ Kenstar. I don't know if he's still a DJ. He's also a TV personality. He's got many talents. He's able to fit in anywhere, I think. He's also a host for events. We'll get chatting with him on the other side. Welcome back. I mentioned that I'll be chatting with comedian Ken Dumbo. Hi.
Hi, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Last time we sat like this in an interview setup, you were interviewing me. You were DJ Ken.
Yes, I remember that one. That was the year 2016.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 2016.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
4 years ago, right?
Evelyn Horn FM.
Yeah. Are you still a DJ?
No. I'm not practicing now.
Would you go back to radio presenting?
I'm actually longing for it.
Really?
I miss radio days. I think radio was nice.
Yeah.
And given an opportunity, I think I wouldn't mind going back.
Okay. One thing I didn't know though, that time, I didn't know that you were also a comedian.
Neither did I.
You didn't know that? That's how I wanted to find out. Like, did you know that time, or how did you find out?
Okay, so it's that kind of thing where every time when you're around people, serious, people end up laughing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after I completed school, I tried to look for a job, but of course.
Yeah.
Then I just thought, okay, since I want to be, I'm a journalist by profession, and I'm not practicing as a journalist at the moment. Why can't I just come up with content that I can be posting on my page? And by then I had a page that I was using initially as DJ Kenstar. And so I had pressure from my followers who used to follow me on radio, like, Ken, stop missing on by radio and that kind of thing. We want to know what you're up to and stuff. So I started making videos. Now those videos were kind of serious in nature because I was talking about various issues. Some of them were too serious. So sometimes about politics, then what the from cause. Yeah. So in the end I was like, okay, since people are taking this too serious, why can't I just add some humor to it so that although nakamba politics, but as long as people will not take it so personal. So I started doing that, and then I realized that the more I did more of those videos, my following was growing. I was like, okay, let me just get into this. I just take this path. So I started making funny videos, coming up with content that was kind of serious but had some humor to it. And in the end, I started receiving calls. Oh, I'm like, oh, so I can actually make money from this. Let me take this thing seriously. And then, the rest is history.
For me, I'm thinking, I feel like comedians are very strong people because you're going to stand in front of people with the aim of wanting to make them laugh. Sometimes you may not make us laugh. You will be the laughing stock because we're like, what the hell are you doing there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how did you get the courage to say, from just being a journalist, you are serious on radio, to saying, I will stand up, I'll be in front of people. Or did you have anybody who said, you know what, you can do this, you can do this?
Okay, I think I thank God because I think growing up I've been a public speaker. Yeah, so it started from church where, it's youth day, that kind of thing. Growing up, you find yourself in a group that does poetry and you're in front of people. Then the next thing, I'm given an opportunity to preach in church. I was only 11 by then, so I stand in front of these hundreds of people and I'm told to preach, and I preach for close to about an hour and that kind of thing. So I grew up with that, and I remember the time I was in school, as a business officer, I was very active in drama, poetry and debate. So I've had these experiences growing up where I stand in front of people. So after I completed school, standing in front of people really was not a big deal for me. The only big deal was creating content. So if I'm going to stand in front of people and say I'm a comedian, then I need to come up with content that is going to make people laugh. At the end of the day, so the only tough part for me has really been content, but not really standing in front of people. I don't think I've had that as an issue.
So how do you come up with content?
Yes, I have to research. So I do a lot of watching, I do a lot of reading, and do a lot of research. I believe that there's a lot that happens around us, and for people to really take you what you call yourself, then you really need to have those characteristics and stuff. So I do a lot of research, I do a lot of watching. There are people that do what I do, so I always need to watch and see, okay, where do I need to improve and this and that. So it takes a lot of research. Anyway, to put it in a nutshell, you need to research. Ngatuzapanga ndio comedian nero yako nikuchita chevi wala chitabanzako, then you're not a comedian.
So how did you get any of these comedians that have been in the game for a long time maybe call you or try to groom you here and there, or it's been self-grooming?
Okay, sir. Okay, so I'll be very honest with you. I don't know about other countries, but in Zambia, it's tough getting help from people that are already established, especially in the comedy industry. I remember the time I was growing up, I tried to get in touch with quite a number of people. Because that time I was a nobody. I was just this guy straight from college, and then I saw a number of people that were doing what I was trying to do, you know. So I decided to start making videos, and that time I think there were about maybe 4 or 5 people that were doing videos. And so from time to time you'll be like, boss, and machako to the same. So and the maybe mungani post. But then growing up, I've come to understand why they probably didn't give me an opportunity to to just do that. So it's a kind of thing where you're growing your brand, okay? You're growing your brand. It's like I do a video of an interview with an artist, and then I say, Hellen, oi, niko na ka interview, kenda sitako interview guys wa. So nifuna tuniponyele ko pa YouTube channel yako. Yeah, and I know you can't do that. You get my point. You can't do that. Why? Because you're trying to grow your brand, and you want your followers to just follow what you do. And even for comedians, that's like the case. It doesn't make sense for me as Ken Dumbo to post content. For example, I'll give an example of my friend Njombe. For example, he's in his lane, he does his own thing, and he's got his own following. I'm Ken Dumbo, and I also do my thing.
First, I want to understand, how far is your support supposed to go?
How far is my support going?
Yeah, because like maybe sometimes you can like share something that your friends.
Yes, there is no harm in sharing.
Yeah.
There is no harm in sharing. But there's a problem in every time when somebody does something, they're like, oh, I've done another one. Please post this for me. I've done, post it. At the end of the day, the pressure doesn't just come from the people. It also comes from our followers. Yeah. Some people just follow my page because they just want to see Ken Dumbo content there. If they want to see Njombe content, and I'll use Njombe because he's a colleague and we are under one management team, they will follow his page because they just want to follow his page. So if they come on my page, they see there is Njombe content, they're like, Ken, what's happening? And so after I reached where I've reached now, that's when I realized, oh, so this could be the reason why those days when I tried to send somebody content, they were okay. Unfortunately, some of them didn't even give me feedback anyway. Okay. At least the boys think I posted it because of this and this and this and this and this. I know. But at the end of the day, at least I try to push myself, and I think most of the works that I've done, I've just pushed myself. I'm one person that believes in myself so much, and some people have doubted me, but really, if I know I can do something, I've never underrated myself. I'll push until something just happens. Great. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll continue chatting just after this. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm still here with Ken Dumbo. Where did the Ken Dumbo come from? Ken is a combination of, it's actually an acronym of my names. Okay. So K is for Kazungo, E is for Emmanuel, N is for Ndea. Actually, my so Kazungo Emmanuel. Yes, so it's Kazungo Emmanuel Ndea, K-E-N. Then the Dumbo, a time I used to do radio. I used to do radio on Hon FM. We used to do the breakfast show with my brother Cass, who is with Kitwe FM now. And we had a group called the Kunakwa family. So we used to call our breakfast show the Kunakwa breakfast show. The idea was to bring 2 different people from 2 different, backgrounds, together. So I was the kwa guy, and Cass was the cool guy. And I think even our character and our behavior was just like that. So we came up with an initiative where we would meet street kids every Sundays, just interact with them, eat with them, play games with them, and stuff. So one day we divide them in groups, and coincidentally I was given a group of Vafana Vezovoina in Vega Vega. So the other group started laughing at my group. It's a group with Dumbo Vega Vega. And one of them is like, then okay, so even we Dumbo Boyonda. So they started calling me Dumbo Boy Wonder. And then on radio I used to use DJ Ken Star, if you remember. So I decided to remove the star and add the Dumbo. So it became Ken Dumbo.
Okay,
and so even after radio, I was like, okay, why should I come up with another comedy name if I can use this Dumbo name? So I just continued with it, and it has become a brand now.
That's smart. Okay, so here's the thing. Most of your social media postings, you make a joke about where you grew up from. Like you're always talking about Solomon. So I'm from Kafue, so I kind of know Solomon. But maybe to somebody who is watching right out there, maybe some people just comment and they don't even understand, why does he talk about Solomon so much? Just kind of describe what Solomon is.
Okay, so Solomon is a shanty compound. It's a ghetto where I was born and raised up. Initially, if you came from Solomon and you're around people that know what Solomon is, most of them would either not talk to you or they would be actually scared to associate with you because there were these stories about Solomon. Of course, they were at my records, so mfiti, but a lot of people exaggerated them though. So when they go issue mfiti, then when they go issue having kumba and stuff. So a lot of people would connect.
But you know, growing up, I didn't know the Nigeria part. I think I knew it later in life. I think when I had even left. But I know the Nkumba part, but the Nigeria part.
Yeah, so the Nigeria part came in because when they go to my record, mfiti. When the person got maybe no, since chef, but you know, for us, people that grew up from Solomon, to come back to mfiti, we would not even be worried because that was just a security issue.
Okay.
Yeah, near security, just change that.
What do you mean security? No, I mean.
No, it's that kind of thing. So protection. Protection. So you just protection. Okay, I'm genuinely being for real. Of course, there were cases of witchcraft. Yes. But not as exaggerated as people make them. You know, anataninga munkumba, anataninga munjoka. Those were fake. Those were myths. But of course, because they go to my cases to feed. But if you know, cases young kumba maning, there was a lot of pig then.
The pig thing I know about it. It's like
so many people maybe after a month, then people were like, no, and then that was the time which my Nigerian movies are booming and about feet, so that they started calling Solomon Nigeria.
Somebody was telling me that Solomon could be a fan.
Nanje sikinatoka kuti.
Ati mufana akakuza ati nipase ole.
Niggas, those are lies. So it's just a ghetto where life, I mean, kulibe wood bilibe mfiti. Or kuma woodlands or kuma kablonga konse kuliba mfiti. But maybe say yenzena mkarako chabe public domain too much. So it's a place I'm proud to have been brought up from, and I normally talk about it because I faced a lot of stigma. Stigma city chabe kulinkani zinanga. Yeah, I faced a lot of stigma even the time I was in school. Grade 1 I remember because I think I was 8 years old when I was in grade 1. So in the basically, the moment my classmates knew I was from Solomon, and there was that notion that Solomon and Kwaba Mfiti, most of my friends never wanted to sit with me and stuff. And every time maybe I have an issue na mbanako chena muntu uzato cha Solomon Kwaba Mfiti kuvinkumba and stuff. So the only friend that really gave me an opportunity to be playing around with him and close to him was Japhet, and I think you know Japhet Sakala.
I know the name.
Yes. So we became buddies. I think from the first day I was in school until the time we completed in grade 12, he has been my best friend. He's been my buddy like that, and I think I owe whatever I've become today to him because he really encouraged me to just put to shame all those people that looked down on me because of where I was coming from.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to ask because you've shared quite a number of personal things on your social media. You talked about how you struggled growing up, but before I even get into that, you've already mentioned the place where you come from. It's somewhat looked at differently, and also I think you'll find that most of the kids that will come from there will fail to graduate even grade 12. But I think you, from talking to you and from the time I knew you, you seem to be a very confident person. Because I think if you are stigmatized like that, for some people, automatically their self-esteem is dropped to zero. So what's kept you going? You were telling me you were in the debate club, you were president of the debate club, you were vice head boy. How did you manage to just say, you know what, I don't care what you say, let me just live my life?
I'll still owe it to my friend. I think what people say when they say, you know, the people that you interact with will determine what you're going to be or where you're going. I think that saying is true, because my interaction with my friend Japhet just taught me a lot of things. He's one person that would actually notice when I'm low, and even when people insult me or stigmatize me, he will actually come to me, encourage me and say, you know what, just don't mind them, keep doing what you do best. I think you can do what everybody can do, so don't look down on yourself. And I remember there were times when we would even go to church activities. Maybe you go for a camp, and you know, I would not want to hide where I'm coming from. So I would want people to know I'm coming from Solomon, and what they do, I can do. So that actively engage myself in poetry when we go for a camp. You go and march. Sometimes because of the place, most of my fellow young people from my church would not go for those activities, because even at church we would face that. Okay. Yeah, okay, maybe they were doing it for fun, but in the end it would affect us. So that Mwafika maybe at a meeting at church, and then like, now we're going to have a solo bond coming to do, then and then they're laughing at you, and then some guys would just say, but we'll just continue doing that. And I think those that grew during our times when we were actively in the youth ministries and stuff, most of them were attest to the fact that I had a friend of mine who we were with. Whatever function was happening at district level, at conference level, would only represent our church as young people, the two of us. Conference, you go maybe you're just the two of you. The other churches will be like maybe 100, 200, but for our church, just the two of us. People didn't realize why it was like that, but we had a problem with our fellow young people who would say, no, us when we go, people laugh at us. And so for me, that just built me, and I think I also owe it to my leaders, because our leaders would have to tell us, guys, it doesn't matter where you come from. What these guys can do, you can also do. So if it is marching, whether you're the two of you or you're 100 of you, just go and march. If it is poetry, go and participate. So we reached a point where Solomon became on the map, even when it comes to church activities, because we would just gladly go there and participate. And in the end, we were spotted to be very funny guys, because whatever was happening were just the two of us, myself and Fraser. I don't know if you heard of Fraser Simbe at some point. It was like that. So I owe it to the people that I grew up playing with and interacting with, because they really built me. And after I reached a certain stage, I realized that, okay, I think I can do this. So when it comes to debate, even at school, I would go there. They're like, you also do debate? I was like, yes, I do. And then, it worked out.
That's a good trait. There's a story that touched me about how you talked about how your parents sacrificed so much for you to get to where you are. First, are you an only child? No?
No, I'm the firstborn in a family of 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 5 of us are biological, and 1 of us is actually our stepsister.
Okay, cool. Okay. No, really, I didn't expect you to be.
Stigma oneka mwa firstborn. That's a firstborn oneka mwa 0 is a journey mwa No, I know.
Okay, but, so you mentioned how your parents struggled to put you through to school, and just tell me about that. You said your father was a security guard?
Yeah, okay, so I first of all want to just thank God for my parents. So one, my parents are not that educated. Okay, they have not been to high school. They don't even know how it feels to be in high school. But I'll tell you that they are very responsible parents, and I think none of us as their children would say ine maparent banga swananchitireko so ngati sunachiteva no ufuna uchita mu life ni problem che yako. So dad was a security guard, and mom was just a hustler, so she would do different things just to raise money. Lero mzapeza wali pa market wagulisa ko chiwawa, the next thing mwambia chati bangeneka ku mafarm kwendo chinjanisa vovala na midisi and that kind of thing. So I remember even the time I was supposed to get in grade 1, my parents asked me where they wanted to take me to school. Do you want to go at Solomon Primary School or you want to go to Kasenji? I was like, different now Kasenji and Kaspunza Oko Estates Kumayad, that kind of thing. And then they would just do whatever a parent can do for the betterment of their child. So one thing that I don't understand up to now is how Dad just managed to, do everything for us. Because I'll tell you, Helen, that there was never a day we went without having a meal. But at first, when I discovered, I think that was in grade 8, 9, Dad was getting a 250 quarter salary for his 5 kids. Okay? And the time I went to grade 10, 11, he had changed company, so he started working for another company where he was getting a 500 kwacha as his salary. And then I remember after I got done, I left Kafue in 2013. Actually, 2012, I left Kafue, came to Lusaka and started pushing for a job and stuff. Yeah. Then I was accepted to go at Evelyn Horn College to study journalism. And I remember I was supposed to start paying 3,500 per term for my course. Yeah. And then at that point, I had not saved anything. And when you're working as a school leaver, you're like, no, I'm saving money for school, but you're checking as a saving. So by the time I was being accepted at Evelyn Horn, I had not saved anything. Yeah. And then I told my parents, okay, I've been accepted for journalism and I really want to study this course, but I need to pay 3,500. My parents were like, no, we don't have money at the moment. So let me try and ask Kunchito, Gatwangatipa Seko. So Dad wrote a letter to his boss just asking for money. And guess what? Just for asking for money, he was fired. Just when the boss mwana wanamcha accept so na bopemba ukandarama. So coincidentally, before that, there was another man that had gone to ask money. He was also fired. So no, him was not fired. He was given the money. But when Dad went there, so he was like, oh, someone botumfia na manje, you think he So that's how he got fired. So I still pushed by God's grace. Some people came on board to help me, and I managed to pay for my first term fee. Anyway, the rest is history. But it reached a point where by the time I was supposed to complete my education, my course at Evelyn Horn, I was owing the school about 16,000. And then they said if you're not paying half, you cannot write the exam. So my parents had to sacrifice and sold some land, which was our garden. So they sold our garden at a price of 4,000. 4,000 kwacha, not in a 12 or 20 pin. Just 4,000 sold the land. They didn't even get a 50 ngwe from that money. They just gave me the money and said, this is what we have. We wish we could have more, but ngati wazakukanenda kuti usalembe exam nchitaesa vavuta chabe. So just going. And by God's grace, I went and paid that amount, and through His grace, I managed to write my exam, and I graduated anyway. And so my parents have been.
You even attended the graduation ceremony.
I did, but that is also a story for another day, because I was not supposed to attend that graduation because I was still owing the school. So So my life has been a mystery. It's been God's grace for me to reach where I've reached today. Of course, I've not achieved a lot of things, but I really appreciate the little that
You're not where you were yesterday.
I'm actually far away from where I was yesterday. In a panic, I can say I've made it in life. But what is this guy talking about? But really, it has been a hassle, and I know there are a lot of young people out there that are going through what I'm going through, and they're thinking maybe it will not shine someday. Tell you what, God works through different ways.
Yeah, that's true. How are your parents doing now?
No, they're okay.
You're keeping them well.
I'm keeping them. I mean, but inakufahamu hapa.
That's very good. That's very good. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. I wish we had more time to chat. We can do a part 2 anyway. Are you dating? Oh, you posted your girlfriend. You posted your girlfriend recently on your social media. How does she feel about your videos? Sometimes doesn't she complain? Sometimes say,
Okay, so I think I'm the best girlfriend who really understands the kind of industry that I'm in, and she did not know me now that I've become Ken Dumbo. I think this is somebody that I knew from when I was young, before I became what I've become today.
Yeah.
And she knows the funny part of me before I was Ken Dumbo.
Okay.
That's when I was Kazungo Emmanuel on there. Church activities and all those things. So when it comes to now that I'm doing all these things, she understands me and she gives me a lot of support. So jamundu wako tunachaka videos, baby, but that video, ever come to me, okay, when you're doing your videos, it's you and your business. When you're with me, it's me and our business. So she doesn't cross the line between me and business.
So when are you having your friends MC your wedding?
No, I wouldn't want to disclose that, but when God allows, it will happen.
Okay.
Soon.
But a quick one. When you are talking about governance issues, aren't you afraid that sometimes it may affect your career?
But that's what I signed for. I mean, for me to do journalism, it's so unfortunate that people just look at the comedian side of me. They forget about the journalist part of me.
Yeah.
For me, I'm using social media as a tool to just communicate issues as a journalist. Yeah. Okay, and I found a way that people can actually listen to me, and this way is when I add humor to it. So I'm a journalist comedian if people would love me to put myself that way. So I don't see any wrong with me addressing issues. At the end of the day, I'm a Zambian citizen. I need to voice out a number of issues that are affecting me and my fellow citizens out there, and there's no harm in that as long as I'm not insulting anyone. So I've received calls, yes, I've received a number of calls, but I'm not scared. I would rather die for saying something right than comfort people with lies. So I'll use my platform to just communicate issues. If I have to appreciate, I'll appreciate. If I have to criticize, I'll positively criticize. Not that I've sponsored. I think I'm learned enough, I'm older enough, I'm mature enough to express my views without anybody, pressure, or without somebody giving me money. I'm just a mere citizen, a young person who is interested in national issues.
Perfect. It was great having you. I wish I had more time. There's still
yes, oh man, won't be in Vocam, but I think we can end it here. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Okay, guys, I've been chatting with Ken Dumbo. I hope you've been inspired by this interview. I hope you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel. We've been chatting from the outside.
Yes, subscribe right now. Mazambians, no problem. Subscribe. Let's support our
and turn on the bell.
Yes, yes. Kakazili da chea kaposita ngre nishkalila. No problem.
All right, bye bye.